We'll tear your soul apart. Welcome to hey everybody. Welcome to the Jared Cast. My name is Jared A. With me is Jared L. How you doing today, my friend?
I am good, and immediately reminded why I don't do the intro of these because yours are always way better. How could I top that? I'm doing well. I am exhausted. You and I were chatting before, so you kind of already know this, but I drove like 6 hours and then watched the movie we're reviewing and then immediately sat in this chair. So I'm a
Yeah,
little drained in a weird headspace. But I'm excited nonetheless because we're talking movies. How the fuck could I not be excited? It's the favorite thing in the world. And we're both matching, which is pretty sweet. Just posy vibes all around here. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I also just watched Hellraiser 2022 today. By the way, that's the movie we're reviewing. Um,
Surprise.
yeah, and um, yeah, it's kind of a weird energy right now today. Is a both a lazy Sunday and a busy Sunday because I have to do a lot of things, but a lot of those things involve just sitting down and looking at a screen.
Yeah.
Um, so those days are always fun. But I have an early morning tomorrow that I'm excited about, so we'll see how that goes. But for now, I'm also just excited to talk about this. I know we were both
Hmm.
digging the Night House, which came out last year, and
Absolutely.
The same director, David Bruckner, remade for Hulu the the first Hellraiser, based on the Hellbound Heart by Clive Barker. Um, that line is not in this movie that I said at the beginning, but it's from the original. And yeah, we're gonna do just a pretty easy newish spooky season movie review for
Yeah.
Hellraiser 2022. But first, we got some fun Halloween vibes for our top five.
We do. Um, I thought for sure, without a doubt, we had done this already. like 99% sure, so I still threw the option out there and was pleasantly surprised when we hadn't. We're doing our top five favorite Halloween like episodes for TV. They always do like special episodes for Halloween and usually Christmas or something. But Halloween seems to be the big one. I would always get super excited growing up watching TV for like, ooh, what are they gonna do on the Halloween episode of this show? And so it's always got a special place in my heart and fond memories. So we're doing it. We're doing our top five favorite Halloween TV episodes. You wanna kick us off?
Sure. It's hard to find like Halloween specials because I think that was the original
Hmm.
intention, but there's like three.
Yeah.
So but there is one that did make it to my list, um, and it's my number five. It's called "It's the Great Pumpkin," Charlie Brown. It's a film, an hour long special, um, based on the story by Charles M. Schulz, who is, like, as everyone knows, creator of Peanuts, writer of this story, and on the Mount Rushmore as far as comic strips and that medium goes. Um, and yeah, I love this movie. I love all the not all, but like I love a lot of the Charlie Brown stuff, a lot of the Peanut stuff. I love Linus as a character. I think he's so funny and weird, and this is just a great little moment in Linus's life and in his weird devotion and faithfulness to this to this mysterious pumpkin. And but what the thing that I love most about it actually is the moment near the end when Lucy actually tucks him in because she's like the meanest character of the entire thing, and when she sees that he fell asleep outside, she actually like takes care of her little brother. I was like, holy shit, that's awesome. Yeah, I always love that that special.
Yeah. I mean it's fantastic. It's glorious. I love it a lot. Um, I don't know. My family would watch it every year. I'm a big fan. My number five is a weird pick for me and my usual taste. And I think it crept its way onto the list because it's like the only one of, I'd say one of three episodes of this TV show that I actually remember and like could recite any details about. And that's How I Met Your Mother with the slutty pumpkin. Um,
Yeah.
Yeah, you got everything. You got unnecessarily scandalous costumes. You've got the worst, most outdated costume, even at the time, let alone now, with Ted's hanging Chad costume. And I think this one just stuck with me because the like misconnection aspect of it. I think this is also where Barney finds out he's Canadian, which that's two for two for Jared right here. So yeah, I just thought it was weird that I even remembered this episode, so I had to include it as number five.
That's awesome. Is wait the other who's the other Canadian character? That's Robin, right?
Robin,
She's also
yeah.
Yeah, because she was in like a weird. She's like a Canadian child movie star or something like
Yeah,
that.
she was like a pop star. She's just Carly Rae Jepsen.
Oh man. Yeah, I've seen a few episodes of How I Met Your Mother, and that actually is one of them. And
Oh
it's a
yeah.
good one. Yeah. Yeah. My number four is a great episode of a great show. It's season three, episode two of Bob's Burgers called Full Bars.
Hmm.
This is a fun one because the kids get to go trick or treating unsupervised for the first time, and so they go to this island full of rich people, and this island is like a 2 hour ferry ride or an hour ferry ride away, and the crazy thing about it is that because they're rich people, they give out full size candy bars uh, per house. And so the kids are going to get rich off candy, but they end up being hunted by teenagers, purge style. And it's great. And then the B story is even better. The B story, because the kids are going unsupervised, Bob and Linda have no excuse to miss out on Teddy's Halloween party. And what ends up happening, and it ends up being like the worst experience ever, even though Teddy's their best friend, because his guinea pig gets murdered, and they need to find out, and so it becomes a murder mystery in like a whodunit for the guinea pig. Yeah, it's absolutely insane per Bob's Burgers style, and yeah, I love it.
Yeah, this was gonna be on my list, but I had to cut it out because I knew you'd have it on here, and I think we're gonna have another crossover, maybe two, later down the road. So I was like, we can't have two similar lists. He has perpetual claim on Bob's Burgers, so I had to.
Yeah, yeah. There's definitely one that I'm pretty sure we both, yeah.
Yeah,
But we'll see, we'll
I
see.
I at a record this tangent at a record store yesterday. They had the Bob's Burgers three like triple LP of all their songs and stuff, and I almost got it, but then I saw Blonde and I traded it out. Um, I'm still kind of not sure if that was the right decision. Um, Anyway, that has, I mean, speaking of blonde, I guess this show's got a lot of blonde people in it. Number four is a childhood classic. It's The Sweet Life of Zach and Cody with with the ghosted Sweet 613.
Stupid. It's
All
so dumb. I
time
forgot all
favorite
about
episode.
it.
The best episode of this show happened to be a Halloween episode. Um, Yeah, I mean it's Esteban at his finest. A fantastic performance on his part, and this one actually like it scared the shit out of me when I was little. I was like, oh god, ghosts in my sweet life, and it was just traumatic for me. So I had to include it. It was probably like the first time I dipped my toes into anything horror apart from my number one on the list. And so I think it also maybe influenced my horror taste. Maybe The Ghost in Sweet 613 is why I love The Exorcist and Poltergeist so much.
Damn, that's great. Drawing connections to our childhood trauma. I love it.
Yeah. We're just here to unpack shit at the Jared cast.
It's Halloween. That's what we got to do. My number three is from a little show, also on the Disney Channel, but it came out years later. It's called Gravity Falls. Um, I'm speaking, of course, of the second and final Halloween special of Gravity Falls. It's season two, episode six, called Little Gift Shop of Horrors. And this is the only episode that occurs outside of continuity, and it is amazing. They literally, Mabel, the best character, fights claymation in 2D animation. And
Oh,
like I didn't even think it was possible to do it like and make it look as good as it does.
yeah.
Like obviously it's happened before, but like the way they do it here is like it blew my mind, dude. It's so good.
Hmm.
Um, and yeah, it's like there's this she has this pig named Waddles, and Waddles is like her best friend, and they have all these like photo booth pictures together with this pig that just walks around and eats whatever. And Waddles is a cute character, and Waddles talks in this episode, and it is unnerving to see a talking pig. Yeah, it's great. Highly recommend Gravity Falls, and highly recommend that episode for sure.
Nice. I've never seen it. I know friend of the show, Renata, was a huge fan.
Yeah,
Um, and so he's been hyping it up. So maybe I'll just start with this episode because it's
dude,
outside of the canon
it,
and then
it's
dig in.
yeah, it's like the X Files for kids, dude. It's crazy. It's
I'm on board.
yeah, they take so many left turns that I'm like, what?
Yeah.
And that's every episode. It's crazy. Okay,
Good to know. Good to know. My number three is also in season two of its show, season two, episode two, and that's Trick or Treat Freak in Stranger Things.
hell yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah, I mean it is like half a normal episode of Stranger Things, and that side kind of kicks off a lot of the season two plot lines and reunites Eleven with Hopper and has all these great moments. But it resonated with me. The just conundrum of being too old to trick or treat, but also still want to do it, and like that in between stage was like 5 years for me. And so those memories are like more burned into my brain than like actually trick or treating as a kid. And so it was nice to see that play out on screen in a show that I'm already hooked on, already love, and be executed so well. And it's Stranger Things season two. Like it's great.
Yeah, man. I love it. I love it. Yeah, I wish I included that, man. It's such a good episode. I was looking at it too and kind of like watching clips from it, and I was like, oh shit,
Mm.
I forgot. Yeah, it's great. Wait, was Max Michael Myers? I forget. That was her, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Or she was something. I don't remember if she was Michael Myers or Freddy.
I think she was Mike Myers.
Oh, because Freddy was later, huh? Because he was before. That was 1984. That was summer 1984. Sorry.
Yeah, you're
Um,
good.
I digress. My number two is season two again, and episode six again.
I
It's
already
epic.
know what it is.
it's,
Because
it's
my number two, get
amazing.
it out of the
Amazing.
way now.
Is Community season two episode six epidemiology. Holy shit! How great is this episode? It's so
So
good.
good. It's one of my favorites of the whole show. And that says a lot.
Yeah, the entire community college gets struck with a special type of rabies that turns them into zombies, and it just becomes Night of the Living Dead with the study group. Um, Chang hooks up with Shirley. A whole bunch of crazy shit happens, man.
Hmm.
What's your favorite part of the episode?
I like the food hoarding. Well, no, my favorite part is that the whole thing is scored by ABBA the whole time. But that's my favorite part. But like, apart from that, I don't know. They just fuck with so many like tropes in zombie movies, and it's so good.
Yeah, yeah. I loved I loved Troy walking in on the in the exosuit from Aliens. I thought that was great.
You'll
So good.
a great meme too.
For sure, for sure. Sure. Did you have anything else you wanted to say about it, or did you, do you
No,
want to just move
I
on
just
to my
wanted
number
to,
one?
yeah, just hop onto it.
My number one is not really a special, but it does play every Halloween. It is only 2.5 hours long with commercials. It's Over the Garden Wall. We reviewed this
Oh.
on the Jared Cast um, with Winston, our old friend from college.
Mhm.
And yeah, Over the Garden Wall is great. It's super spooky, a little bit disturbing, but ultimately uplifting and optimistic. Very, very fun stuff about overcoming your fears and facing adversity. And yeah, I think everybody should watch this. Child, elderly, regular adult, younger adult, everything in between. They should all watch Over the Garden Wall and then watch it again because it's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, I don't know why I didn't have it on my list. Like I don't. We talked about it before recording. It was on my
Right.
mind. I just didn't. I just forgot to include it. But it absolutely would have been like number one or number two for sure. Um, Probably number two because this has a special place in my heart. It is a yearly tradition with this show to go hard as hell on Halloween, and that's just every Treehouse of Horror episode for The
Oh,
Simpsons.
okay.
Was that the one you thought?
I was thinking you would go with five because that's the Shining one, right?
Yeah, yeah, that's
Yeah.
probably my favorite. The Shinning. Yeah, that one. Number four is great because they got like a Twilight Zone parody.
Right.
They do Soylent Green at one point later. They do pretty much every single show.
Right.
And it's always fantastic, man. It's so good every time. I haven't seen any of the new ones, but pretty much since it started to since I stopped watching, it was like a highlight episode, and I think that's hard to do. And I love it a lot. It also gives us a lot of the alien features in the show, and
Yeah.
those characters aren't in it enough. So had to go Treehouse of Horror.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I've only seen a couple of them. I've seen five. I don't know if I've seen four. But yeah, they slap. I even read like the comics when Bongo Comics would put them out.
Oh
Those were
yeah,
so much fun. Yeah.
damn.
They did a Jaws one with um I forget who the oh no, it's not she's not the main character. She's the never mind, my bad. I forget I'm not like a huge Simpsons nerd, so I don't know anybody's
Yeah,
names. I'm sorry.
that's fine.
Um
um,
but yeah, they have 34 coming out
yeah, that's crazy.
this year.
For me, the best ones that I like remembered and was reminded of was 4, 5, 6, and 9, which is kind of golden year Simpsons. But
Right.
so if the audience wants to start somewhere, I'd recommend those. But fuck it, start at 34 if you're feeling crazy.
It's coming soon to
That
Fox.
show is
Um
on too long.
yeah. Yeah, man. Super, super good stuff. Love The Simpsons, love all these shows. Um and I I also really like this movie that we got coming up, Hellraiser.
Oh, you
Um,
know who else really liked it? Was Alex Harris Love,
ooh, very cool.
who gave it a 10 out of 10. It's a rare positive bad review on Jared Reed's Brother Interviews movies that we're watching because it's funny and makes him laugh and stuff. Um, this one, I cut it in half and then trimmed the paragraphs I kept, and it's still too long. Originally 1,822 words
What?
about Hellraiser 2022. So I'll read you a bit of it. I'm not going into the whole thing. Yeah, and this is like spliced and kind of jumps around, but I tried to make it cohesive. Anyways, spoilers. They call this review, this is the review of all reviews. Wanted to watch Smile in theaters with someone this morning for my birthday, but everyone was busy, so I settled for the new Hellraiser on Hulu to end the day with my 14-month-old daughter. And this is the best movie I've ever seen, period. Not best horror movie, best movie, period. The ending message the writers present is literally the answer to life. What is life? What is the purpose of life? Where do we go when we die, etc. If you don't want me to ruin the movie for you, stop reading here and go watch it. Otherwise, here we go. I was folding and putting away laundry as I watched the film and really put it on for background noise, but as the film progressed, maybe halfway through, I couldn't look away from the television to see what type of clothing was in my hands, to where at the end I was literally saying things out loud to the characters in the movie like, "Oh no," and "Wow, I can't believe it," despite watching it at home alone with my daughter passed out behind me. People often ask what blind people see since they can't see, so we all assume they see darkness, since that is what we see when we close our eyes and can't see. However, a person who can see out of one eye explained it as it's like seeing out of your elbow or your knee. You can't, it does not exist. Therefore, it is the equivalent of not having an eye at all or having an elbow where your eye is. You can't see out your elbow, so why would a blind person see out of their eye? So being blind is pretty cool. It's actually, and probably, even better than being able to see, because the way we have to close our eyes to get a better visual of something that isn't really there to imagine it better. Blind people do not have to do that. What they imagine is what they see. Now back to the movie. The entire premise is a millionaire that uses the Cenobites to acquire his wish. He has to have over 6 people sacrificed to them. Okay, done. Fast forward 6 years later. We'll say 7. Since 666 is evil and bad luck, we'll just say 7. Since 777 is good luck. Yet literally they are the same thing. Flip them upside down and they are 999 or LLL. And then he just goes on to say the whole plot of the movie, basically. That was kind of the highlights. But yeah, that
What?
plus another 1,700 words.
Man, I guess it's the sleep deprivation from having a kid that makes you go so crazy. I don't know
Yeah,
how to
dude.
explain that. That's
I
insane.
I knew I was picking it the second I watched this with my 18-month-old daughter. Because even having her in the room, like she's gonna wake up or like open her eyes and she's gonna see some dude's like mouth getting ripped to the sides or something.
Yeah. She won't remember it, but she'll grow up with like a general sadness inside.
Yeah. And and a desire to be blind.
Jeez. All right.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think this is the greatest film ever made, but I do like it. I think Hellraiser 2022 when you compare it to the original, which I know is, I don't like to do that. Obviously the original stands on its own. It's a classic. It's an art house, and it's an independent art house cult film classic. So it's very, very niche. It's kind of admired by horror fans all over the world for kind of pushing the boundaries of what was possible and what was allowed to be shown. But I don't think I don't think this film has to copy it entirely. I don't think that's
Mhm.
their legacy. I do think that they are faithful enough to Clive Barker's source material, The Hellbound Heart. But other than that, this is kind of it's it. My main thing against it is that it doesn't take things far enough. I think if you want to make a Hellraiser movie that's going to be your staple Hellraiser, they've been talking about remaking it since like 2010.
Mhm.
If you want something to be your definitive 21st century, this is Hellraiser, this is what it looks like in the modern era, you gotta push it. You gotta really don't try to instead of trying to like recapture the magic. I would say it's better to recapture the ethic and recapture what the filmmaker was trying to do by showing us this.
Mhm.
Um, and so, but yeah, that being said, a lot of great performances, tons of great special effects, really really good direction, and yeah, I think it's above average. I'll give it a 7.5, but I really wish they took it further. I really wish they pushed things further as far as the torture in the film, which is not that bad when you look at the others. Like, obviously, it looks more real now that special effects are better, but it's
Yeah.
still kind of like, I want you like it, especially after the past 2 weeks that I've had with the amount of gore that I've seen. I expected more from this. And then, you have an opportunity with a modern protagonist, someone who's, not necessarily easy to root for. That's kind of one of the weaknesses of the 80s is like everybody needs to be so likable. The main character needs to be like
Mhm.
so likable. And that's good about Hellraiser, but I think when you have a more complex protagonist, you could have upped the quality of the story that much more. And they did, and they kind of tried to, but it didn't really show that much, and so as a result, it was not as splashy. It probably will not be as impactful as the original film, and so yeah, those are my thoughts.
Yeah. I'm in pretty much complete agreement, but I think I just enjoyed it slightly less, um,
Yeah,
and that just comes down to personal taste. I think new Pinhead, fantastic, an excellent performance, just exactly like those are tough shoes to fill. That's an iconic character, and she fucking filled him and filled him well. I might even like her more than the original Pinhead. I'd have to go back and rewatch, but I'm a big fan. Um, the gore, I agree. They needed to do more with it. They needed to leave leave a little ick in me. Like I finished the movie, I closed my laptop, and I was like, all right, yeah, like nothing really lingered, you know.
yeah,
And especially if you're not showing it in theaters, which Hulu, come on. You're not putting Prey in theaters. You're not putting this in theaters. What did you hate us? You just hate movies? Um, it's fucking stupid. But if you're not putting it in theaters, it's kind of permission to go a little hard. You could have pushed it even further and had that be like an excuse to do so. Kick the franchise off right, get people talking about it. Because I didn't even know this was coming out before it had already came out. Like just
yeah,
nobody cared or cared to talk about this movie. And I think they dropped the ball in terms of the gore and the torture, like you said. Definitely could have taken it up 5 notches. I mean, it's a lot at times, but like It's not. We've seen pretty much everything they showed before. Like, just go watch like us the original Saw, and you'll be cringing more than you saw than at this. So it lost points there, and it lost points kind of in the protagonist's story because it was a complicated character. It's not somebody who's the most likable. They're robbing people. They're popping pills and forgetting about it. But they didn't hit anything really. Like they just kick off the puzzle box plot immediately after the smallest setup of characters I've ever seen. It's like 2 minutes of like, I'm an addict, I'm her brother. Anyway, let's go. Which I mean, there's benefits to starting the fun off early, especially in horror. But I just wasn't attached at all to anybody in this movie, especially the friends that come and join later. I like they could all die, and I didn't feel anything for them. So a little bit more establishment in most characters across the board would have been nice. But there is a lot of positives. I liked this movie more than I thought I would. The special effects are fantastic, both practical and CGI. Looked great, and that's also made me want them to push it even further because it looked good. That was fantastic. The production design was great. That was one thing I always loved about the Hellraiser franchise was like they make shit look cool, even
Yeah.
if it's like mutilated Cenobites. And they did that here. A lot of them were freaky and awesome, and they were just fun to look at. The Art Deco in Roland, right? Or was it Roland or
Yeah.
Ronald? Roland's
Roland.
mansion was like intricate and just like fun to look at, even if it is like obviously inspired by the puzzle box itself. And just everything was visually very appealing. The direction was great. The score was fantastic. The sound design was a little meh. There was one part where it just straight up was out of sync with the characters talking. At least for me, it might have been a lag on the computer, but I was kind of meh about the sound design and the ADR in the film. But overall, I thought I was going to not like this movie at all. I thought I was going to come in here roasting the hell out of it. And I got a pretty enjoyable film as a part of a franchise that I've, up until now, didn't really have much desire to revisit or see movies I hadn't seen. But this kind of reignited me for it. Still, though, I'm giving it a 6.5. I think it beats the average, but not by a lot. I still wish I had more to chew on.
Same. Yeah. Especially with that supporting cast, man. It's kind of a bummer that it was like a lot of those friends were there just as a body count, because um, the thing about the Hellraiser franchise is, I haven't seen all of them, but um, there's no real continuity with the humans, right? The only
Hmm.
continuity in the original series is with the Cenobites. Everything else is just how these particular humans and this particular group of humans responds to the Cenobites specifically. And that you get a little bit of that as soon as they get trapped or as soon as they get marked for sacrifice.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's like not really, there's no opportunity to really dig deep into the character and why they're given the torture that they're given, why they're given the pain that they're given. There's no um, even for the characters that deserve it. There's not really any sense of poetic justice like we kind of get it with the
Hmm.
the lawyer. Right,
Yeah.
she does have it coming, but it's like but it happens off screen, like we don't even get to see it. Um, and I will say Goran Visnich as Roland Voight. He does have a little bit more to chew on as an actor, and so I think
Hmm.
he's much better. But a lot of his scenes are exposition, and yeah, I do like his torture device that's on him. and that's attached to him, right? And and that kind of this idea that everything is a trap, no matter where you turn.
Mhm.
Every little bit of progression in the story is actually a regression because you're just causing yourself more pain as a human being. Um, they the Cenobites, uh, they give him this thing that pulls on his nerves constantly. And so all of his riches, all of his wealth, all of it kind of means nothing because he's in constant pain, no matter what he
Mhm.
does. And then his choice at the end is an interesting counterpoint to Riley, to Riley's choice. It's all very kind of ecclesiastical. Ecclesiastes is the book where Solomon, after you know sleeping with 1,000 women, after building the greatest buildings and uh, uh, gathering all the world's wealth, gathering all the world's knowledge, still felt empty inside, and that's kind of what his story is. Um, but he still chooses power because he still thinks that he can like rise above it. And Riley's story is a descent, right? So she refuses the gift because because she doesn't feel like she deserves it, and she doesn't feel entitled to a gift, unlike him.
Mhm.
I don't know. Um, that's that's literally all my notes on the supporting cast, besides the
Yeah.
Cenobites.
Yeah.
The,
I didn't really get much past that either. Like for the friends, they are just a body count. Like we care about them a little because they're decent enough friends. Like we get tinges of like, oh, we don't drink around her, or this isn't the first time we've like tracked her down to come get her. So you know that they're like good people, but I don't know. I don't remember a single one of their names even now. Like it was just so small and forgettable, and they just like pop in so
yeah,
suddenly that it left a weird taste. Trevor, I didn't really care for him as a protagonist or antagonist at either point in the film. Um, I think it's fitting that he was in on it, but like you said earlier, it would have been nice to have some poetic justice. Like if his death was somehow related to a previous event or like something he said or some sort of like ironic filleting, but he didn't really. I didn't. Not that I noticed. At least maybe there's something that I missed, but it was pretty unsatisfactory there too. And Roland was good. I think he's a good anchor point for the plot to like revolve around and then circle back to. And it gave me one worry I had going into this was that they'd rely on people having seen the first, even if it was a complete restart, because sometimes they just do that. They're like, you know the basic story, so we'll just kind of gloss over it. And so I think his performance was enough, and his his journey through the story was enough to get the core themes of the original and get like the core basics of the Cenobites and this whole world. And so I liked him for that. His performance was decent enough. And yeah, the supporting cast was pretty forgettable.
yeah. I will say though, Nora had the best death, with the needle going through her neck. I was like, that
Yeah, when
was
they cut to it like going through inside, I was like, "Oh, okay, okay."
yeah, that was the one death that like had me like, I don't
Yeah.
want this. I don't want this.
The
Yeah,
the Wire had good like setup. Like the wires made me like kind of flinch when they wrapped around the original guy.
oh,
And then
Colin,
like
yeah,
when it's yeah, Colin. Then when it's on Trevor, you get the little bit of like skin peel, which is cringeworthy. But like give us a close up. Give us like, I don't know, make it worth it. but we only get like one arm, and then they just kind of like cut away and he chokes. Like it was so close to being a really good kill, but
Yeah, I feel it. I
nope.
feel it. Um, yeah, that one I kind of knew Colin wouldn't die. I'm like, there's no way that a Hollywood movie is gonna kill two gay people.
Yeah,
it's
fair.
like it's like they got the one, they got their one, but they're not gonna get another.
Can't kill the
So
full couple.
yeah, um, but yeah, yeah, I agree. It was kind of cool to see him working with Riley as like kind of to get back at them for taking
Hmm.
Matt. But other than that, I didn't have much to say about Colin. Um, for Riley though, I actually really liked Odessa Azayan's performance. I think uh, she has an interesting, like, I don't know, quality about her, and uh, I'm trying to remember the name of the. Okay, so Ashley Lawrence played Kirsty Cotton, and in the first film, and she as a protagonist is very different. Like she kind of looks the same. Like she's kind of got this messy curly hair, but she's definitely like she has her life together. And then the puzzle box throws a wrench in that life. It throws a wrench in her relationship with her dad. It throws a wrench in everything.
Yeah.
Um, but from the get go, Riley does not have it together. Riley's a complete opposite protagonist, and I was interested in that for sure, and very um, and I really had no idea where her story was going to go by the end. I was like, I didn't know if she was going to die or not, or if she was going to sacrifice herself.
Hmm.
But yeah, what do you think about
Yeah.
Riley?
I like her. I think it took a little bit for me to like get on board. Even with the performance, at first I was like kind of still skeptical. And then probably when they talked to the lawyer was when I was like, okay, I'm on board with this character, this direction, and this performance. It slowly won me over, and maybe that was just due to my own preconceived notions of what I was getting into. And yeah, I liked that it was mysterious. The fact that I thought the last kill she was just gonna do herself. I thought she was gonna like do that and like try to destroy it or something, or like I don't know, or accidentally kill herself with the gift, or I thought something bad was gonna happen because she did evil things in a horror movie. But it was nice to see that like she just owns up to what she's done. She's like, I can't fix the people that are gone now, so I'm not going to try because I also think it tied into, and it's like the only part of the movie that really ties back to her struggles with addiction. Like they talk about the 12-step process in here, and step 4 is literally going to everybody you've wronged and like saying like, hey, here's what I did to you. I know it wasn't right. I wasn't who I am now. Like, I hope you can forgive me. You don't have to. And you just like basically get it off your chest. And so it was nice to see like her kind of just own up to it and just be like, this is, I fucked up. Like, yeah, I'm a flawed person and a flawed character. And so I think it was a very fitting ending and a surprising ending, which I really liked.
For sure, for sure. Yeah, yeah, I agree. I agree. I think I was on board earlier because, like, subconsciously, I didn't know this until after I Googled, but she's, um, she's Pamela Adlin's daughter in real life, and I
Oh,
love Pamela Adlin as like an actress and a writer, and so I was like,
hmm,
I didn't see the similarities until like after the fact, so maybe that was why it was sold so early on. But I just really appreciate the physicality of the performance. I appreciate the fearlessness of it, and working with that much like crazy VFX and still managing to be in the scene and feeling like you're reacting to real things and real tangible things, I think is
Hmm.
extremely difficult. Um, I've I felt fear for her every time she handled the puzzle box, because I didn't know what was going to happen to it. I never knew what the puzzle box was going to do next. And you are frozen.
Hello, I'm back. Maybe.
Uh,
I don't know. Am I still frozen?
you're there. You're just choppy.
Okay. I could still hear you
Oh,
cohesively,
okay.
so you could just keep
Okay,
pretending
cool.
like I'm there.
No worries.
Sorry, video
Um,
people, you don't get to see my beautiful face.
yeah, the I agree with you about the addiction thing though. Like it could have been a lot deeper, and
Mhm.
it could have been a lot more involved, especially with the idea that you're dealing with hell on Earth and someone who already feels like they're in hell, someone who already feels like they're dealing with their confronted with their worst desire and having to confront the memories of all their mistakes and trying to make amends for it, but not being able to make amends for it. Like that sounds like hell.
Yeah.
And that sounds like an addict's, someone in recovery for sure, in the early stages of recovery, like she is. And so, yeah, I definitely wish they dove deeper because I think I think Odessa did a good job, and I really wanted to see more of that. But I think one thing that we're both in agreement on, though, is the Cenobites. Man, they were
Hmm.
very, very cool. Like, yeah, not not nearly as grotesque or grimy as Clive Barker's as the Cenobites in Clive Barker's film,
Hmm.
but I think still super intimidating, super authentic to what they represent. And even though I prefer the '80s designs a little bit, I kind of like that this one's like fashionable. Like they were,
Yeah. It's sleek, dude.
yeah, they like tried to make themselves look good,
Hmm.
which is even more eerie and unsettling. Like I would never call this movie scary. I would call it, but I would say that it is pretty unsettling, especially to like novice horror viewers. Um, but yeah, Jamie Clayton as the Hell Priest slash Pitnhead was so scary, so intimidating.
Hmm.
The little smirk that she would give every time something went her way a little bit,
Hmm.
amazing, amazing. And yeah, Jamie Clayton, I saw a little bit of her in season one of Sense8. I did not continue watching, but I thought she was one of the highlights of that season. And I know she, because she's trans, she's had a hard time looking for finding roles after Sense8.
Hmm.
But I hope more people talk about, and I hope more people latch onto her performance as the most iconic, as the face of the franchise.
Yeah. I think she earned her due too. I hope people take notice because she earned it. It was intimidating as fuck. Um, just yeah, like just down to the smallest details, like you said, just a little smirk or like a little look or just the slow movement, taking a single pin out and putting it in all precisely, was just fantastic. She absolutely owned it and made the most of the opportunity, and I hope that it gets her more roles because I'm hankering now. I haven't seen Sense8 or I think anything she's been in, and now I want to. I want more. But yeah, and then on the design of the Cenobites, I'm with you. I love how sleek it is. It's so like geometrical. All of them will have like their main feature, like whether it's like a filleted neck or like their head being pinned to a thing. They have that, and then the whole thing kind of just complements it, and it's fantastic. Everybody looked so good, and scary. It was
Yeah.
unsettling. Like you said, I think they were just a highlight just to look at, having them like come out of the shadows and creep toward people. Big, big, big fan.
Yeah. I was watching an interview with the cast and they were like, what are you most excited for the audience to see? And all of them said the Cenobites. Like they were just
Yeah,
a
which is
lot of
good.
it.
That should be a
So
Hellraiser. You should either say the Cenobites or the kills, and the kills were kind of a flop. So I'm glad that they were equally excited.
definitely, definitely. Yeah, man. I also liked the gasp. I don't really. I think that's the one design that's an improvement over the original for sure. That's
Mm,
like the like a major noticeable improvement. Having the kind of skin go over her like a hood. I thought that was amazing.
mm-hmm.
Chatterer looked pretty cool too. Um, and I was kind of like I thought it was a really cool idea that you could sacrifice a Cenobite. I didn't see that coming at all. I thought that was a wonderful twist.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I was kind of sad to see Chatterer go. I was like, damn it! I like
Yeah.
that's like my favorite one. um,
If all of them were gonna go, why'd it have to be that guy?
but yeah, yeah, definitely love the Cenobites. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I know we also both loved The Night House last year, and David Bruckner, I think, did an excellent job um, using the geometry of a space to scare people and to kind of make these like really mind bending, eye bending visuals. And I think he continued that here as well. A lot of these scene transitions into the Cenobite realm look real. Like they look like the
Mm-hmm.
sets actually. I don't know. I couldn't see where the CG was and where the practical was a lot of the
Mm-hmm.
time, especially in the hospital or even in the van. I thought that was the coolest freaking thing, man. It's so good.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, what did you think about David Bruckner's direction overall and his approach to the aesthetics?
Yeah. That was something I noticed too. I absolutely loved it. Even like down to when they get the lawyer. We don't see her death on screen, but watching the pillars kind of like spin away and just reveal the Cenobite world was so cool. It was like that one Apple Home commercial with the Anderson Paak song, but evil, and I loved it. Yeah, I think he did a great job. I think, yeah, I mean, when I'm not overwhelmed. I wasn't super underwhelmed. I guess I was just whelmed by most of the cast and their performances. So I think some of that burden does fall onto the direction. But that
Yes.
was like the only negative that I could see in his role in this film. I think aesthetically, everything was on point. Like down to the production design to the score, everything felt like a cohesive unit, and it felt like a Hellraiser world, and a new one and a fresh one. And so that was great. It was shot beautifully. I think most of that was due to the special effects or like the design of the world. But the cinematography complemented it super well. I just wish some of the actors held up a little bit better.
Yeah. At first, I was frustrated with the cinematography because everything has that modern blue and orange look. And I wish they went for
Yeah.
something like a lot more abstract because those colors are normally used to invoke natural light. But then
Hmm.
I watched the original and it's very blue and orange. Like it's very so I
Hmm.
don't mind so much. I think it's fine that it's very
Okay.
blue and orange. Um, for the direction though, especially in the scenes involving two actors at a time or like one-on-one confrontations, the coverage felt very normal. Like it didn't feel like they were pulling out all the stops for that. Maybe because they were
Yeah.
short on time because there were so many on in camera effects. But still, I mean, like in a movie where the shots of for the where the transition shots are really good and where the action scenes are really good and where the unsettling and scary scenes are really good. Like I just wanted better, you know, something better than over the shoulder, you know.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. Especially coming off Smile, where like the shot reverse shots were like used to build the
yeah,
horror of the film. I was a little more hard on him for this.
I agree. Um, any other notes you got on the film?
No, not really.
Cool, cool. Excuse me. One of your favorite scenes?
I'd love to. You want me to go first, or you want to take it?
Go. You go.
All right. Um, I liked I liked the first reveal of the Cenobites a lot.
Mm,
Having the merry-go-round and then there but not there. I was worried it was gonna like be a real slow build to that, and like after Pinhead disappeared, like a few scenes later we'll get another one or something like that. I was like, oh god, it's gonna be a long drawn out thing. But that whole scene was great. It was a nice intro to any suspense or horror of the film, and I liked that. The bus was probably the most tense I felt the whole film. Them trying to escape and like the maze-like structure of the roads and having to turn around while being chased and stuff. All climaxed real well into that kill, which I think was decent. I enjoyed it a lot. And then I actually really liked the ending shot of Roland getting like filleted. And is he turning into a Cenobite or like a god or like what?
I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah.
It looked like they were kind of making him into like this perverse Christ figure, but
Hmm.
beyond that, I'm not entirely sure what was going on there. I think
Yeah.
he's just becoming a part of Leviathan.
Okay. Because whatever it was probably the time that like the gore got me the most because they actually like focused in on it and showed it, and just seeing him like grimace but not even be able to scream was cool. It was the
Yeah,
most unsettled I felt in the film. Didn't really know what was happening or where it was leading. But I think it deserves props for being the most affecting part of the movie.
very good. Yeah, in the Wikipedia it says that he's inside Leviathan and he's undergoing a brutal transformation into a new Cenobite.
Okay.
Um, it's cool that they left it ambiguous like that. Like
Yeah.
I don't necessarily think that Wikipedia is right, especially about art. But yeah, it's a really amazing scene. It
Hmm.
looks beautiful, looks grotesque, looks like everything you'd want out of a Hellraiser film. Um, my favorite scene was the kind of the transformation of the hospital. I
Hmm.
thought was really interesting, especially with the lawyer. Although I was left hungry for more gore and hungry to see her death. Um, kind of seeing the Cenobites play with her was just
Yeah.
really it was really intense and really interesting and visually very stunning. Um, I loved the kind of back and forth between Riley and Colin versus the Gasp, and then Roland versus the Hell Priest slash Pinhead. I thought that was a really nicely cut sequence. I was very on edge for it, and um, yeah, uh, Pinhead torturing Nora. I think is got to be my third one because it's so clean. Like and yeah, I love it. The way they bend her backwards and just kind of does it with a finger like that. I was like, oh, so
Yeah.
good, like a conductor. Um, and the thing Pinhead says Like there's no music in heaven, and then like play and then like makes her scream in a different sound with his eye.
Yeah.
Oh, so good, so good.
Yup.
I hope they get a sequel. There's no way to measure the success of it because it's on Hulu and Hulu never releases their numbers. But yeah, I hope they get a sequel where they can explore this aesthetic approach to Cenobites way more, way deeper.
Yeah. Yeah. And it would be cool to see Roland's finished Cenobite. Because it
Oh yeah,
looked, I don't know. I thought he was becoming one because they like, when they peeled the mouth away and everything else was super symmetrical. So I was like, all right, they're replacing the Chatterer with Roland. And so it would be cool to just see him be like another lackey. So I'm hoping I'll watch a sequel if it comes out. Hulu, you listening?
probably not. But thank you for listening to our
Yes.
to our Hellraiser review. You can go check it out on Hulu. And if you have a local theater that's playing this, that's just playing it as a double feature with the first one or something, like go out and support it. It's important that Disney not do this anymore. Watch this in a
Yup.
theater if you can, or local theaters, independent theaters, nonprofit theaters. Play this in a theater. It'll get butts and seats probably. Anyway, anything else you want to leave the people with, Jared?
No. Thanks again. We love you.
Love you,
Goodbye.
love you. Bye.
Let's go.
What a lovely day!
Andy, there's a whole world out there. Jump in.
Can you dig it?
Yeah.
You must always pay strict attention.
I was just completely enamored by it the entire time.
Dude, he did not have to go that hard.
I know, man. Isn't it wild?
The Jared Cast.
So it